Hey sailors, welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Janda, and this is my Let's Play of Rule the Waves 3 as the United States. It's January of 1958, we're at peace, and as the 50s carry on, we are continuing to upgrade and modernize our fleet. Particularly, we're trying to figure out how to get SAMs and more surface-to-surface missiles into our ships. Time's going by pretty fast now. No, we're still not using any of them really, so don't bother. On the other hand, at this point, it's 58. We could definitely get a new jet attack and heavy jet. I would think, anyway. Let's see, range is not really a problem, is it? No, not really. I mean, I think we probably prioritized range on that one, but still, like, if we could prioritize... I don't know, let's see what that comes up with for us. As long as range isn't absolutely horrifying. $567, huh? And here's an 84 aircraft carrier. Not bad. Still not as big as ours. Rocket-assisted ASW torpedoes, which apparently just improves ASW mortars. Sure. Bit of a placeholder, sort of, but it works, I would say. Actually, interestingly, our heavy jet is still faster than that, and longer ranged. So, the hell you doing over there, Germany? You're supposed to be on top of jet fighters. Hi, Hoffman. How's it going? Super silent propellers, increase in submarine survivability. And the Galvestons are ready. I don't think I can lay down 7 of them, but let's lay down, like, 4. It is 7 I need to replace, right? Yeah. Well, and then really, we should probably just replace the San Franciscos as well, and then we can have all missile light cruiser force, but start with the Cincinnatis. They're the most outdated. Good news is the budget has finally properly recovered. More or less. Missile fire control system. Better hit rates for SSMs and SAMs. Once we've got those light cruisers replaced, we're going to need to design a SAM-capable heavy cruiser. But just the sheer weight involved means it's apparently going to have to be a heavy cruiser. Four more destroyers. Continuous rod warhead, better SAM hit chances. Low-level air attack profile. Reduces hit chances for enemy heavy and medium SAMs. Alright, we got a lot of money again, actually. So let's lay down another 3 Galvestons straight away. That'll be enough to replace the whole Cincinnati class. And then we still have money, so maybe... Well, let's wait until we can lay down replacements for the 3 San Franciscos as well, and then we'll look into replacing all our heavy cruisers. That probably just means waiting for Kearsarge to be commissioned. The tensions are reduced because everyone's terrified of us. Valid. They should be. Struggling with things, but We're all right. Yeah, I'll take that offer. Disarmament conference. We should not be limited in our national security. Actually, how about this? Yeah, no agreement. Missile boats. Motor torpedo boats will now be missile boats with heavy SSMs. Fair enough, but nobody builds them anyway, so we're not Norway. I mean, what am I going to do? Put them in the Pacific? Sure. Spy from Great Britain, huh? Maximum publicity. A little before, but we're getting there. And let's lay down. How many Galvestons are we building? 3, 4, 8. 2 more we need. Let's just lay both of them down. That should be fine. Okay. So that's enough replacements for the whole light cruiser force for now. Oh, wait. Oh, no, the Raleigh Block 2 is just to get us up to 20. Yeah. We're good there. So then... Oh, I should build one more... we're going to build a new destroyer class, though. Bigger. So for right this instant, let's look into a new heavy cruiser. One that is capable of all the latest and greatest in terms of blowing stuff up. That's a good starter design. Okay. Well, not great, actually. All right, first of all, add another forward turret. Triple. 9-inch guns. Triple fire control. Plenty of 5-inch secondaries. Auto-loaded. Director. Dual purpose. Never mind light AA. We don't have CWIS yet, so no point to it, really. 5-inch belt. Never mind speed. I mean, speed is important, but probably a little better torpedo defense than our light cruisers have, too. And are we springing for unit machinery? Sure. 5-inch belt, 2-inch deck. That seems okay. Much thicker than 5-inch conic or 2-inch conic tower, though. That's dangerous. Okay, then aside from that, what do we have here? Okay, we do have 2 SAMs stuck onto it at the aft. Along with... Okay, weirdly enough, we've gone for a picture of a helipad, but no actual helipad. Okay, yeah, fine. I'll free up the Y position, and I will find another place for a heavy SAM, probably. How's about W position? Is this supposed to indicate SAMs and not helicopters? It really looks like a helicopter to me. Okay, well, let's have capacity for 2 helicopters with our helipad. We're going to have 2 SAMs. We're going to have 2 SSM launchers. Can we fit more SSM launchers? Yes, we can. Please do. Okay. We're way over our maximum topside load. All right, we'll figure that out in a minute. We might not be as much by the time I've figured out how much damn tonnage this thing's going to take anyway. Oh my god. We're still over our maximum topside load as well anyway. It's actually not as heavy as I feared. I mean, it's very heavy, but 18,000 is not that much more than our existing heavy cruisers, so we are well over our topside capacity, huh? How do we fix that? interestingly, well, it's the heavy SAMs take up a ton of space, but, like, they're a key part of this design. We could drop secondary dual-purpose mounts. I'd rather not. We could drop a little bit of our radar-directed medium AA, but I don't want to drop all of it for sure. Why does it have an ASW mortar? It's not a bloody destroyer. Alright, tell you what. See, I feel like we don't really want to drop any of that, though. Tell you what we could probably drop. We could probably drop these extra SSM launchers and just assume that this is a little bit more of a support ship compared to our light cruisers, you know? Now we have too much weight. We're going to undo part of those gains, but not by much. Okay, we're still significantly over, but not as much. How do we drop this further? I could drop the second backup fire control position. That's not such a big deal. Although I don't actually like it, but... Are AA directors cumulative or just backup? I feel like they're cumulative, but I could be wrong. Okay. That's what we gotta do to make it all fit, huh? I think that'll work. That'll be acceptable. We're down to less secondaries than I'd like, a little less medium AA than I'd really like. Ooh, and now it's way heavier, though. Like, no, not that much, actually. I mean, we could... Still 17,300 tons. It's very slightly over the top. Oh, we need a second. We need a hangar to have a second helicopter, huh? Well, oh, that adds a lot to the topside load. Okay, what if I just accept one helicopter? Doesn't actually reduce topside load at all. Might affect damage control and seaworthiness. I mean, it's by one. What if I just built a little bit of extra reserve buoyancy in? And, like, future-proofing. I'd still really like to have those extra AA guns and secondaries, but that's just the sacrifice we're going to make to get SAMs in, because they're very heavy and they take up a lot of space. But obviously, theoretically, I mean, they're SAMs, they're better on paper. It's just a question of whether in 1958 they're actually better. But I guess this will be the testbed class to find out. Let's start developing them. Britain and France in an alliance, huh? Beginning to think Europe doesn't like us too much anymore. A new cruiser from Japan. Well, it's capable, but ours are just as good. Tensions are very low, kind of low. I probably could have just insulted them, but that's alright. France is considering a naval rearmament program, huh? Yeah, they're no threat to us. Okay, our new jet attack prototype's much faster, Shorter ranged, but not in a way that actually worries me. More maneuverable, significantly tougher. And they carry a heavier bomb load. Okay. So, speed, really nothing to pick from between them. The Republic design has way shorter range for some reason, so that one's out. It's not even the most maneuverable either. They all appear to have the same bomb load. So Douglas and Grumman, literally identical speeds, literally identical ranges. In fact, the only difference is that the Douglas has both more maneuverability and more toughness. So Douglas it is. It'll cost us a little bit of range, but I'm not overly worried about that. And then it's probably also time to go ahead and develop a new heavy jet fighter, because it's been a little while on that too. Got to keep ourselves at the state of the art. Now we're going to need about 10 of these Pueblo-class cruisers. We're not quite in a position to actually build them just yet. But just as soon as we start commissioning these, actually, not even when we commission the Galvestons, as soon as USS Kearsarge is commissioned, that should free up enough money to lay down the first, 2 Pueblos. Alright, USS Kearsarge is commissioned. A new liberal government wants to reduce arms expenditures. We can live with this if our foreign policy is tempered and reasonable. Social reforms. Yeah, that didn't cost us that much money anyway. We're fine. Although, actually, no, it did cost us quite a bit of money. It's just kind of masked by the fact that Yorktown was just, or Kearsarge was just finished. We should be positive 7,500 right now. But anyway, Kearsarge is finally complete. We're going to get an air group on her straight away. And we're going to go ahead and decommission USS Hancock, our last pre-jet fighter, pre-jet carrier. Although I'm pretty sure the Ticonderogas had to be refitted for jets, but at least they carry them. So that leaves us with 16 carriers, of which 4 are the old Ticonderogas. These could stand to be replaced. I mean, the Yorktowns are pretty much twice as good, but they're not terrible. 2 Shangri-Las, or 4 Shangri-Las, and we now have 8 Yorktown-class carriers in service. 800 aircraft between them. 816 to be technical. So yeah. Sorry, let me just go over our intel here. Okay. At this point, we're just waiting for a little money to free up to build some Pueblo-class cruisers. I'm happy with where the carriers are. We do need new destroyers, but not imminently. New surface capital ships, well, we're just about at a point where we could maybe think about building an arsenal ship or something, but probably it can wait until we've finished our cruiser and destroyer refits first. Radar-equipped helicopters. Okay, well that's excellent. That'll immediately help the sort of SAM duties of the Pueblos. Now, if only the budget would get in order enough for us to build some Pueblos, but the economy is booming. We should build a highway system to promote long-term economic development, because you know what? What would the U.S. be without the damn interstate highway system? Base bleed shells, 10% range increase for all guns. Well, that's pretty solid. Ah, towed array sonar. That'll be nice for our next destroyers. Potentially cruisers too, but especially destroyers. Well, we're not quite at the point. I mean, in the modern timeline, the overlap between destroyers and cruisers, it's more like a description of job capabilities than it is a size difference at this point. But in game here, our destroyers are still quite a lot smaller than our cruisers. I mean, cruisers are still bigger than destroyers in 2023, don't get me wrong, but not by the percentage that they used to be. That overlap hasn't quite happened yet in game. We're not building any Arleigh Burkes that are what, like, aren't they almost 10,000 tons? Am I crazy? Let me look that up before I continue spreading misinformation. No, yeah, they're almost 10,000 tons, so not quite at that point just yet. Okay, struggling to... Okay. Better radar-directed medium AA. And improved ECM reduces enemy cap and AA effectiveness if we have a special squadron aboard. And missile hit rates. So maybe we should think about sticking some special squadrons onto our carriers soon. Some wild weasels, as it were. Okay, we've almost got money. Germany's granted independence to Southwest Africa. Well, I'm sure their empire will never recover from that loss. USS Aurora is commissioned. This is a ruse to get us to let down our guard, although I don't actually really want to fight France, but I'm not reducing my budget anymore either. PBX shells, gradual increase in shell and missile damage. Okay, we're up to 20 light cruisers finally. We're building 10 to replace the pre-Raleighs. Now it is time to start laying down Pueblos. They're not too much more expensive than light cruisers, actually, so we'll lay down 2 for right now. As the Galvestons start to finish up, we'll be able to lay down Pueblos almost 1 for 1. Pretty close, really. Bearing in mind, to be fair, the Pueblos only have 9 9-inch guns, which is less than the ones they're replacing. But I kind of just figured for 1959, that's probably acceptable in order to stick more missiles on than the helicopters and all that, you know? Ooh, one of them's not facing forward, though. That's annoying, but I don't actually think it has a big impact in-game. Struggling with improved missiles. Wow, tensions are really high with France. France, where are we even going to fight, honestly? They do have 14 fleet carriers with 2 more building, but they're obviously much smaller than ours on average. So, color me not all that impressed. Japan's trying to take over northern Korea now. You know what? Just no. Yeah. Not ending up with another divided Korea situation. Submarines are underhanded, unfair, and damned un-American, sir. No, okay, fine. I'll build half that number. Our heavy jet prototypes are much faster, actually longer ranged. Lack firepower, even though I made it a priority, but whatever. Okay. Honestly, there's not too much to pick from between them in terms of speed or range. Or firepower. probably ditch the North American design because it's actually the slowest and has the least maneuverability and toughness. So it leaves Martin and Boeing. The Martin is slightly faster, but slightly shorter ranged, but very slightly shorter ranged. Same firepower. The Boeing is just a little tougher, though. The range is basically a draw, so it's a question of whether I value that point of toughness or that extra 15 knots more, and I think I'll probably take the toughness, so let's go with the Boeing design. As long as it doesn't lead to us only designing Boeings for decades to come. I know it's not quite that bad in real life, but it'd be better if we could avoid only having like 3 major defense contractors. You know? Sierra Leone's achieved independence. Good for them. The Germans are building a cruiser with 12 8-inch guns. And it's got SAMs and SSMs. Fair enough. It is. Actually, yes, it is. That's the problem. I guess firepower is not something we care about. Let's just go for those 2 things. I forgot we designed a new helicopter, but then the candidates were all terrible, so I kind of gave up, but we should really get a better one, especially if you're going to build cruisers that use them. No, I don't care. Fight another war with each other then. Struggling with long-range air-to-air missiles. That's not great, actually. Now I'm wondering if 9 9-inch guns on the Pueblos is enough. How the hell did the Germans get 12 8-inch guns and more 5-inch guns and 8 heavy SSMs on theirs? I don't think they had helicopters, but still. We might have to go in and redesign that a little before we build any more. We'll see if I get yelled at in the comments over them, maybe. Improved instrument and landing systems allows air operations in low cloud and drizzle. Very good. All right, that brings us to January of 1960. And I think that's going to be where we end it for today, folks. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all have a nice evening. I hope this save actually copies over properly. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.